Hello, everybody, and welcome back to BU Inspirational Interviews. I am here with Joanna. She is a holistic entrepreneur. I've actually been to her facility. Is that what it's called? Yeah, a couple times. I did not the red light, but the steam sauna.
Oh, the
I did
far-infrared
that.
sauna.
I got a massage here before, and then I was doing the lash. There was a worker that you had that Violet.
Yeah.
That was her name.
Yeah.
She did lash something. I forgot what it was, but it was like Latisse, but it was like a natural way. I don't remember, but
to grow your lashes.
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I was doing those things.
That was a long time ago.
That was a very long time ago. I haven't been back in several years. I've moved twice, I think, since then. So
Wow.
yeah. So she has been in business for quite a while. I really admire what she does. I love holistic health, anything. If it's natural, I absolutely am all for it. I love it. So I love everything that you're doing, Joanna. But I do. You're doing a lot of stuff here. But I will say the most marketing, like what draws me in every time, and most people I feel like, is your like she uses like the poop emoji because she has like this service that cleans out your system, right?
Your colon.
And I'm terrified to do it. I'm like, I know it's probably incredible for you, and I probably need to do it, especially all the information that I've been reading about, like, people with, like, oh, you're not fat, you just have backed up, blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, huh. So, yeah, I just, without me talking the whole time, Joanna, why don't you introduce, I guess, yourself and what your business is and more about it.
Oh, thanks. My name is Joanna Sinescu. I'm a board-certified traditional naturopath and colon hydrotherapist here at the Root Chakra in San Jose. I specialize in gut health, cleansing, and detoxing, and the service that you're talking about is called colon hydrotherapy. Some people also refer to it as colonics. It's a professional enema. So it's you're irrigating the large intestine, the colon. There's a one-way valve from the small intestine to the large intestine, so the water can't back up in the small intestine. It's just the large intestine that's being irrigated. And when you introduce water into the colon, that causes peristalsis. That's the natural contraction of the colon throughout the day. So it makes it contract a little bit more quickly. It gives you the feeling like you need to go to the bathroom, and then you go. So I tell people, if you love to poop, you're going to love this because you're pooping for 45 minutes, but the water's doing the work for you.
Oh my God, 45 minutes?
Yeah, you're filling and releasing, filling and releasing. You're getting about 20 gallons of water in a session. Yeah. And then
there's that much in there?
Well, there's definitely a lot of waste in there. You're getting in more water, obviously, but the water is also absorbing, soaking. In one session, you'll move a lot, but you'll never be completely clear. As long as you're putting in food, you're creating waste. But you could be in here every day for a week, and more stuff would keep coming out. And
oh my God!
Yeah, the times that it really freaks me out is when people are coming in on water fasts. So they're actually not putting in any food, and they're still coming in several times a week, and more stuff just keeps coming out.
Oh my God.
So it's really good for, obviously, for constipation. It'll give you some immediate relief. But if you just have like a sluggish bowel, if you lost that urgency feeling like you need to go to the bathroom, it's like a workout for the colon. It's going to train it to remember that action. It's really good for your skin. Your liver and your colon are interconnected through that hepatic pathway. So the liver dumps it in the colon, and then the colon sends everything back up into the liver to be refiltered. So if you have any skin issues, liver issues, it's really good for that. Also the kidneys as well, since the kidneys filter water, keeping the colon clean will reduce that burden on the kidneys. I mean, I could go on and on about colon hydrotherapy, but it's very beneficial.
So how did you get into this?
Completely by accident. So I was a high school student, 15 years old, just looking for work. I was literally walking into these buildings in the same plaza that we're here and now, walking into every business asking if they were hiring. And the woman who owned the business before me, she decided to hire this business here. Yeah, she decided to hire me. I was a high school student. I didn't know anything about holistic health or gut health. I was about 40 pounds heavier than I am now, acne, eczema. I was struggling with chronic fatigue. I had no energy. It was hard for me to get up in the mornings. Usually I would miss like the first 2 or 3 periods of class because I just couldn't get out of bed. And then I would go to school, in high school you're out at 3:30, and I would go home and I would sleep. So like the majority of the day I was sleeping. I didn't know I was very sick and I just had no idea. I just thought like, oh, I'm a teenager. It's just puberty. It's normal to have mood swings. It's normal to have acne. It's normal to not have like to. I just thought that's what it felt like to be a teenager. So I had no idea. And then I started working here, and slowly I started implementing the things that I was learning about and changing my diet. I was starting to exercise, which is how I met you. I wasn't exercising at all before I met you, and then I started going to the gym once a week. Then I started going to the gym twice a week, and then I started getting obsessed. But it was just little baby changes over years. And it took about 2 years for me to finally start feeling better, of like consistently just implementing the things that I was learning. But it took about 2 years for me to like finally feel like, wow, that I was really sick and I had no idea. And when you're hurting, when you're always hurting, it's so hard to tell how much pain you're in, because that's just your baseline until you're finally out of pain. And you're like, wow, I was suffering this whole time and I just had no idea.
So what did you have? Like, did you find out, or was it just
not? I can't say that I necessarily found out. I was struggling with chronic fatigue. If you go down the rabbit hole of chronic fatigue, some people will tell you it's like rooted in Epstein-Barr. Some people will tell you it's rooted in parasites. Some people, I attacked it from all different angles. I was taking antiviral herbs, antiparasitic herbs, taking herbs to help push out the heavy metals. I was doing all these detoxifying services here, like the sauna, the foot detox, the cleanse. You know, and I mean, every day you feel a little bit better and then not, but at the 2-year mark was finally when I felt like I hit that next level that I was looking for. And then I was working here for about 6 years. I got my bachelor's degree in health science, and I wanted to see what else was out there. At the time, the business owner wanted to sell the business. She wanted to sell the business to me, but I had been here for 6 years. I just got my degree. I wanted to see what else was out there, and so I said thanks, but no thanks. And also, at the time, I thought that it was safer to work for somebody else. There's this like illusion of safety that if you're just going in for a job, you're getting your paycheck, that feels safe, and running your own business feels like this huge weight, and your business is a reflection of yourself. And that's what I've learned over the years. It only grows as much as you do. So if you're stagnant in your growth, your business will also stagnate. So it's
I love that.
Yeah, it's been a huge like personal journey for me. Like my business is literally a reflection of like how much I've grown and what I've learned. And when I stumble upon things that changed my life, I'll introduce them here. For example, yoni steaming. Have you heard of yoni steaming before? Yeah. So years ago, I saw this on TikTok. I thought it was just trendy TikTok stuff. I hate trends and bandwagons, so I didn't think anything of it. And then as I started studying more into naturopathy, we learned about steaming and how the herbs that are being steamed, you change them depending on what's going on. So there's a lot of herbology that goes into it. And then I learned all these different cultures all over the world use steaming. And some of them use smoke. If you have like a wetter condition, if you're trying to dry things out, you can actually put smoke up there. And for like these type of conditions, for example. So yeah, my business has just been a reflection of my growth, and you know, and then I hit moments where I feel like I'm stagnating, and I try to find other things to inspire me and just keep pushing forward.
That's so awesome.
Here I am. Yeah. So I guess just to kind of go back around it. So I was here for 6 years, went into corporate healthcare. No matter what I was doing, I was still the weird one in the break room talking about poop. So I knew I had to get back into it. In the meantime, the business owner had sold the business to somebody else. I was with her for about a year and then left. But in that year, I saw her run the business to the ground. And that was actually a blessing in disguise, because it gave me the confidence that I needed to know that I could do this better than she did. I was like, okay, if she thinks that she can do this, which obviously she couldn't, and I know that I can do a better job because I've been doing this for 6 years, that's what I needed to see to take the fear out of doing this. So she left, she went AWOL, she closed down her business, and I started a new business in the same place that I had been in since I was 15 years old.
Oh my goodness. How does that feel? Is it just
incredible? I mean, you know, a lot of times I just kind of reflect on it, and it doesn't feel real. You never think that at 15 years old, your high school job is going to become your career.
Yeah.
I've been in business for 9 years now, which I feel like really ages me. So now when I tell people, I'm like, I've been in the poop industry for 18 years. So, yeah, um, it's, it's rewarding, you know, and every day I have clients who just thank me for the work that I'm doing, and it's not easy. And like having your own business, I mean, life isn't easy. Working for somebody else isn't easy. Having your own business isn't easy, but it's so rewarding hearing my clients say how grateful and thankful they are and how much this work has helped them, because it makes me feel like I'm doing this for a reason, you know.
Yeah. Absolutely. I love that you put your passion behind it.
Yeah.
Helping people.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So so my question is like kind of silly, but it's like, why do you call it the poop industry and not
industry.
like detox?
Oh,
Because it's more catchy or it's more funny? Is it make it feel more
I guess
less serious?
man, there's so many different aspects to detoxifying, right?
But you do them all here.
I do them all here, yeah. But I started as a colon hydrotherapist. So that's all that I was doing at the beginning, colon hydrotherapy, probably for the first 2 years of my business even. And then all my clients also had chronic lifestyle related things, diabetes, thyroid issues, and I know I can help you, I just don't know how yet. So then I decided to go back to school for naturopathy. So then I got my board certification in traditional naturopathy, and then I learned this holistic, not just nailing down the poop industry, I guess. Now, like if you come to me with constipation or IBS or anything like that, acid reflux, I'm like, I got you. Just give me a few weeks. We'll get you back on track. But like diabetes, how do you undo that? You know, a hypo or hyperthyroidism, how do you undo that? You know, how do you help women in postmenopause and in these hormonal fluctuations? Or some people have had organs removed, you know, and it's like what do they have to do now to help support their body so that they can keep living a better life, you know, and not be affected by this organ that's now missing. So that made me want to go back to school and find out more. But I guess that's why I call it the poop industry, because that's where I started. And yeah, and I mean, pooping, how do you detox? You sweat it out, you poop it out, or you pee it out. So I mean, that's one of the main ways of detoxifying. Yeah.
And I feel like it makes it less like scary and serious, you know, because when you first told me about that machine, it was terrifying. Like even like looking at it, I'm like, oh my God, I'd be so scared to get on that thing and like do that. Especially knowing if you're like in the next room, I'd be so embarrassed. I'd be like, turn on some music. Like, but I think your personality and the way that you talk about it makes it so like, okay, maybe I can do this. And, you know.
So that was an issue for me the first couple of years in my business as well. I'm like, how do I talk about poop? Like, because I feel like it's such a taboo topic. And I was almost hesitant. I was holding myself back from, I guess you can call it marketing, but just from sharing what I was doing, because I felt like this is like a taboo subject. How do you talk to people about poop? But then once I shifted my perspective on it, and I was like, but everybody poops.
Yeah.
Like,
there's the child's book.
Yeah, exactly. Like, let's have fun with it. And so I started adding all these like poop Easter eggs around the office. You know, you'll see all these poop emojis everywhere. And that really helps break the ice.
Yeah.
And I can't tell you how many people I've had who have said they've never even talked about poop with anybody before.
Yeah.
You know, I have one client, and this was like 8 years ago, and this is still a story that I tell to this day, because it was at the beginning of my career, and I would ask people if they're regular. You know, like, are you regular? Like going to the bathroom regularly.
What does that mean?
Exactly. So the question was, are you regular? Because it wasn't how many times are you going a day, it was, are you regular? And since we don't talk about poop, how do we know what normal is? Because you only know your normal, I only know my normal.
Yeah.
And so I had a client who said, yeah, I'm regular. I go once a month with my period. So
once a month?
Exactly. My face, exactly. So that was a big lesson for me, where I realized people don't even talk about this. We have no idea how often we should be going to the bathroom.
Yeah.
And there needs to be a conversation about it. And if we can break the ice, if we can teach people to look at your poop when you go to the bathroom, I know a lot of people don't want to, but from day to day, that's the biggest insight that you can have on how your body is doing that day and where your health is at. And
Interesting.
and my grandma raised me teaching me to look at my poop. So every time
No way.
since I was a little girl, every time I would go poop, she was it a good poop? She would make me look, and so I feel like I was born to do this in that
right?
sense.
Yeah.
Because I've never been grossed out by it. It's always been
Oh,
normalized.
interesting. Yeah.
You know,
Because
and
you were taught it as a youngie. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And I always tell parents, try to not, poop is the first thing your child makes.
Oh, that's true.
So like, try to not like show that it's stinky, you know,
Yeah.
show
Or
that you're
gross.
proud, you know, and I think, and you know, you don't know what you don't know, and a lot of times we don't realize like the comments or the little things that we do and how it affects other people. But for a child, if they see their parent like saying that their poop is stinky, maybe they're not going to want to poop anymore, and then they're going to start withholding. And
Wow.
and so getting back to your question to what is normal,
Yeah.
what is regular. So ideally, first thing in the morning and about 20-30 minutes after each large meal. So if you're having 3 large meals a day, I'd like to see you going 3 to 4 times a day. Most people are lucky if they're going once a day. I'm noticing that's about the average is people are having like their bowel movement in the morning, and that's usually it. Maybe
Yeah.
we'll have one more the rest of the day. And if you're there, I'm happy comparatively to the rest of the population. But if you're trying to really address your health, I would like to see you go first thing in the morning and about 20-30 minutes after each large meal. Because when you're eating, it stimulates that digestive process, and it should be pushing out your last meal as well.
So if you go once a day, is that normal or bad?
If you're eating more than once a day, then I would consider it being
Bad?
constipated. Yeah, yeah,
No way.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
shoot.
You're
Not to give my personal movements to the world right now.
Yeah. But you're not alone. This is what I'm saying. Most
Wow.
people. Obviously, being in the poop industry, a lot of clients that come to me have digestive issues. But the people who come to me and they think they have great digestion, you're just here for general cleansing and detoxing, and they're like, "Yeah, I go once a day," and I'm like, you're still constipated.
Oh my
you know?
gosh.
So
That's crazy.
yeah.
What are some things we can do in the meantime?
Mm-hmm.
Like, just, I mean, of course, get a session with her because we've all found out some information that we didn't know. Well, I didn't know. But in the meantime, is there like supplements, maybe just increasing hydration? What can we do?
Absolutely. So I came up with a model. I call it my cleanser clog model.
Oh.
So I came up with this because I got tired of of clients asking me, can I eat this? Or can I eat that? What about this or that? So whenever you're about to eat something, you can always ask yourself, cleanse or clog. Food is one or the other. It's either cleansing you or clogging you.
Mm-hmm.
The food that's cleansing you has a lot of water and fiber. Fruits, vegetables, root vegetables, leafy greens. Everything else clogs. All the animal proteins clog. I don't care what color the meat is. This includes the dairy and the eggs. All the nuts and seeds clog. All the grains clog. Knowing that, keeping that in mind, imagine your intestines like one long tube. You want to bring in more cleansing foods with every meal so that it can act like a broom to move everything else through. It's not that I have anything against the clogging side, especially if they're well sourced, pasture raised, wild, sprouted, all that good stuff. But it's really about that combination of both, of bringing in more fruits and veggies with every meal so that you have that broom in there. What a lot of people do is that they alternate between cleansing and clogging meals. So cleanse, clog. You can imagine it still clogs. So it's really about bringing more fruits and veggies with every meal. Now, for more on the constipated side, I like to remove the clogging foods for a little bit, focus more on the cleansing side. My biggest hacks are soups and smoothies. It's a really easy way to get a lot of fruits and veggies in without feeling like you're sitting down and eating a big bowl of salad. Leafy greens are a little bit harder to digest as well, but that's a whole different tangent. But so just soups and smoothies. So more on the cleansing side, reduce the clogging foods until you can notice that things are more regular. Then you can start implementing them back in. I have a lot of athletes and bodybuilders, especially around competition time. They're really increasing their proteins and they're getting super constipated. So it's really important to just make sure that you're bringing more fruits and veggies. Hydration, of course. But a lot of people don't realize that water can dehydrate you. So water isn't actually what hydrates you, it's minerals. So if you were to drink distilled water, for example, then that water is going to pull minerals from your body and dehydrate you, literally. And a lot of us think we're drinking enough water, but we're still dehydrated. We still feel dehydrated, or our lips are dry, and so on. we just don't have enough minerals to actually absorb and retain that water. So hydration will help, but not just more water, more minerals. And then my two biggest hacks are celery juice and papaya. Those big myrtle papayas, the Mexican ones, it's going to add more slipperiness to the intestines, so it's going to make everything pass more easily. It has a lot of enzymes in it, really good for gas and bloating. It's very cooling in the intestines, so really good for any type of inflammatory type of conditions down the intestinal tract. Celery juice, just straight celery, don't add anything to it, no water, no lemon, nothing. On an empty stomach works best. I don't like juicing the leaves because they're bitter. Start with half a cup. Work your way up to 2 cups every morning if you can. Now, celery is going to have a lot of minerals, which will hydrate, but also how coffee gets people going in the mornings. Celery juice will do the same thing. It's going to stimulate that peristalsis action, that contraction in the colon. So if your colon is sluggish, you lost that urgency like you need to go, celery juice is a good one. It's really good for the liver and the kidneys and so many other things, but an easier hack than going to coffee, which can be a little bit acidic and not have as many health benefits as celery juice will. Yeah.
Especially with all like the creamers and like additives.
Yeah. I mean, coffee is also a tangent. There's good and bad to everything.
Yeah, true.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. So that's so awesome. So you kind of had your path, I don't know, not paved for you, but kind of like you found it at a very young age. It seems like it was like fate a little bit. Just all the little clues in your life, like, oh, do you want it? No, not yet. Like, say maybe energetically you weren't ready for it, and then you saw like, oh no, I can do this, and you took over. Let's go to that mindset of when you were offered the business and you had the self-doubt or maybe like imposter syndrome, some kind of like feeling of that, like, I don't know if I could do that. Was it that, or was it like, hold on, because you kind of like said, I've already been there, done that. I want to see what else is out there. Like, was it a combination of the two, or was it just the other one where you're like, I'm adventurous. Let me just go see what's out there?
Yeah, it was a little bit of both. In those 6 years that I was working for this business, I was getting my college degree. So, you graduate college, you're excited to get your first job out of college. So this was my high school job and I had just graduated. So in my mind, I'm thinking there's something bigger and better ahead.
Yeah.
And then as I went into corporate healthcare, I realized it's not any better. It's really not any better. And I do regret not doing it initially because at the time my brother was still living here. He lives in Colombia now, but he specialized in marketing. And looking back on it, my parents were still living here. They moved out of state now. So it's like I would have had the support from my family. My brother could have helped me out with marketing. So it was one, lack of enthusiasm, I guess, about it, and two, fear. Just fear that I couldn't do it, and now here I was taking this on, and what if I fail, and everybody's going to see that I couldn't do it. So, yeah.
So how did you get from that feeling, like say the very beginning where you're like, okay, I'm taking this on, that must have been very scary anyway. Like even with that belief of like, okay, this girl tried it, she couldn't do it, I know I can do it. But when you're actually in it and you're like, okay, this is mine, here we go. How do you get past that, I guess, like the limiting belief of like, oh, what if?
Yeah.
The negative what ifs, right? Like, how do you push past those?
Well, leaving and going into corporate healthcare, actually, I was being pushed from two different ways. Working for somebody else, I lucked out in some ways with some really bad managers that just made my life living hell at work. And maybe that's exaggerating, but I was hired to make the place better. And then when I wanted to make the place better, it's like, why are you trying to change things? So it was just, and I find that a lot when you're working for people. They hire you for a certain job and then you try to do it and it's like, but that's not the way that we're doing it here. And it's like, but this is literally what you hired me for.
Right.
So having experienced the stress of working for somebody else also pushed me back into wanting to do this. And when I think about quitting, that's also what holds me here, on top of, obviously, like, I have so many clients that depend on this, and depend on me and just the services that I provide. But I don't want to work for somebody else again. I don't want to deal with that. It's more stressful. It's more stressful working for somebody else, because the stress that you have working for somebody else, that stress is almost out of your control. The stress that is in your business is more within your control because you create it. Another example is, the first year of my business, I was taking all of these marketing classes, and Facebook Lives were a really big thing at the time before Instagram. And I hate getting on camera. I hate talking to people. I'm like, I don't. So, and then I was like, maybe if I force myself, I'm going to go live every day for a week. I did it for an entire year.
Every day?
I'm sorry, every week.
Every week
I
you
would
went
go
live.
live for one day a week, every week for a year. So like 52 lives later.
Wow, yeah.
And every week people would comment on my lives. They would direct message me. They loved it.
Awesome.
It was called Tinfoil Tuesdays.
I remember.
Yes.
I do remember, yeah.
Yep. Every Tuesday I'd go on, put on my tinfoil hat, talk about something crazy. People loved it. I was getting such good feedback. I hated it.
Oh.
I hate, every single week I was like, I dreaded it. And at the end of the year, I was like, why am I doing this to myself? I don't have to do this.
Yeah.
There's so many other ways that I can get the word out, that I can express myself. I feel more comfortable writing than being on video. So then I started blog writing, and then I was like, wow, this feels like a much truer, more aligned expression of me than being on video. And I still do videos sometime, but only when I feel truly inspired to, or like this is something that I want to do. I don't force things anymore. And that relieves so much of the stress. And then I realized, wow, I'm actually the one causing my own stress in this business, and I can control that, and I can actually remove the things that I don't want to do and I don't like to do, and I can do more of the things that I actually love doing, which is just one of the many perks of being your own boss, right?
Yeah, that's so awesome.
Yeah.
How long? So it took you, a year to come to that conclusion where you're like,
a year of tinfoils.
Yeah.
a year of weekly live videos. Well, because at the end of the year, it didn't get any easier, and I didn't like it any more than I did a year ago.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, you have to give things a chance, right? You can't just say like, oh, that's not for me. I don't like that, right? Well, let me try it. Let me get on video. Let me force myself every week to get on video and just do it. And at the end of the year, I was like, I still hate it. I still hate it. So why do I? And then once I let go of that, I just felt like this huge weight was lifted off my shoulders. I was like, wow, I don't have to do this anymore. But people loved it. And I still have people today who ask me to bring back the tinfoils. I'm like, maybe one day. But yeah.
Maybe you can have one of your employees do it.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, pay somebody else to do the things that you don't like to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, that's really, really awesome. And I'm really happy that you're doing this. It's super important. I feel like it's not that common, although holistic health is getting a little more common. People are waking up, I guess, to, hey, maybe taking these pills and, prescription stuff and all of this isn't exactly good for me. It's keeping me in a loop, sure. Putting a Band-Aid on things. So if they really want to come and actually get something fixed internally, you have to go holistic, natural. Find the actual cause of it, right? So yeah, I'm really happy that you started this. I wish that I were closer. I'm very far away. But yeah, I mean, I would definitely get the courage to do it, especially after finding out what I found out today. But yeah, I think that's super awesome that you're doing this. The world needs it, and someone like you to be the deliverer of the information, because you make it comfortable, you make it easy, you make it like feel safe, you know.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I'm happy that you found your calling.
Thank you.
Do you have any advice or anything that you want to say to the BU community?
Listen to your body. Just train yourself to be in tune with your body, and don't write off symptoms as being normal. Your symptoms are your body trying to communicate with you. Your body's always just having a conversation with you, saying, I like this, I don't like that, do more of this, do less of that. And just paying attention to your body moment to moment, how you feel walking, eating, breathing, just everything. Look at your poop, look at your pee, like, dark pee, light pee, all these little things. Are you having more body odor? Are your lips dry? Is your skin starting to crack? Are you getting headaches? Are you irritable? Are you getting hot, like night sweats? Like all of these things that we think are just normal, or aging, or everybody struggles with this. My vision's getting a little bit blurry, or I'm starting to see floaters in my eyes, which I suspect are parasites.
Ew,
not
really?
what Western community says. I strongly believe they're parasites. So like all of these little things, it's an indication that something needs to be addressed and needs a little bit more love and attention. And if you address it when your body is telling you about it, then it won't turn into a problem later on, which is what we want to try to avoid. And even with injuries, you're like, oh, my hip is bothering me a little bit, and you just keep walking on it, you keep exercising, you don't do any type of physical therapy, anything to correct it, and then eventually, like, your hip breaks, right? Or
Oof,
I don't know, just a very like crazy
happens.
example.
Yeah.
But pay attention and address it sooner rather than later, so that you can prevent things from getting worse later on.
Yeah, for sure. And those of you who are in the San Jose area, where can they find you? I'll also put your website in the description. Those of you watching or listening, where can they find you?
Yeah, my website, therootchakra.com. You can find me in Colombia in South America at detoxretreatscolombia.com. That's my next venture. I'm starting retreats in Colombia.
That's awesome.
And you can find me on Instagram, SBH Spa, South Bay Holistic Spa. And
can they book appointments through your website?
You can book appointments. I do Zoom consultations as well. So if you're not local, you can just give me a call and we'll chat.
Awesome. That's incredible. Yeah. Joanna, do you happen to know how I end my show?
No. How do you end your show?
I think there's only a few people that are like, yeah. So I remind all of the viewers to be who, and then my guest says,
you.
Be you.
I do remember this now that you bring it up. Yes.
Yeah, that's always, so that's been my slogan even before the podcast. So I would say it like, be who, be you. After I used to do workout, like, special workout classes and dance classes, and I would always,
I miss your dance classes. They were great.
Everybody says that. I think it's because I didn't make it about technique. I made it about enjoying yourself and having a good time and really feeling yourself,
feeling comfortable in your body, and that was the biggest thing for me when I was taking your classes, because I don't move, I don't dance, and it was just like feeling comfortable.
But you did. I do remember you. Yeah. But you did, and you did well. Yeah. I think once you let go of like the stigma of like, oh, I have to be perfect, or my, whatever, and this. I forgot the choreography. Like, who cares? Just
the
move.
Twerk crawl is still my favorite move. I nailed that one. I have perfected it.
That's so funny. That was so fun though, and it was free because it was all women. There was like no creepy like men watching. It's like we can just be free. I was actually at a friend's house the other day, and one of our mutual friends was over. And I was like, my hips really they feel like really stiff right now. I need to stretch. And she's like, no, girl, didn't you see online? She's like, you need to twerk it out. And I was like, what? And she's like, yeah. She's like, didn't you see like the estatic movement or whatever, getting that like energy out? She's like, it's just us. Just go put on some music. I was like, no, because I was like, I miss that like freedom of like, okay, let me just
embodiment.
Yeah, we need to bring it back. But yeah, so oops, it's be who?
Be you.
See you next week.
Thank
Bye.
you.